Shut up and sit down.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Reddit iRacing League Season 24, Round 4 at beautiful Bristol Raceway with the K&N Impala. I am so excited to be here tonight. We have a 55-minute race at this track where a lap turns in just over 14 seconds, and I am so lucky tonight to be joined by third split, third place finisher at Bathurst this weekend, Alexander Crawford. Welcome to the booth this evening, my friend.
Hey, thank you very much, Aaron. I'm excited to be here.
I'm also excited to be here tonight. It is going to be a heck of a race. We have, as I said, 55 minutes. It is a cold track. It is nighttime, and we have a stacked field of just over 22 cars, 23 cars to be exact, and they are going through qualifying right now. They have exactly 4 laps to put down a decent lap at this very, very difficult track in a very scary car that is coming in at 650 horsepower and around 3,300 pounds. It weighs just a little more than a Toyota Prius. Crawford, how do you feel about this combination, and have you driven this? Because I'm scared just looking at it.
Put in a little bit of practice. I feel like this is an insane amount of speed and power for this track, and these drivers are going to have to be on their A game to make sure that they are taking care of their car and not wreck.
Now, I will not lie. I am a complete stranger when it comes to the circle driving, and I don't know what an A game feels like in an oval car. But what some of these drivers do know what that feels like is our championship leader, which is currently Devin Peters with 124 points, just slightly ahead of Mr. Giovanni Romano with 109, followed by Alex Albert, Thomas Ellis, and Alexander Crawford dropping out our top 5 in points. So these guys are all battling for some tops positions tonight, and points do matter. Crawford, let's take a quick look at the leaderboard right now with just over a minute left in qualifying. Who do you see up top there?
Giovanni Romano with a 14.065 is our current pole sitter, and right behind him is Jordan Babcock, less than 1/10 of a second behind.
I think we're all very, very surprised with Jordan Babcock's performance this season. We always talk about Jordan Babcock. He is our premier circle driver, oval driver in the Reddit iRacing League, and I think we're going to see a lot of him here tonight. Jordan Babcock, as I said, is impressively in P5 in points. And there's a lot of road courses here that Jordan Babcock will openly admit is not his strengths, but I am anxious to see what he does here tonight. And Alexander Crawford, with 55 minutes, and we have cautions tonight, I think we're going to have a few moments of just watching these guys drive very, very slowly around the track.
Yeah, I do too, especially since when we talked about the overall standings, we got people like Giovanni and Babcock up near the top, but we also have people like Alex Albert and Thomas Ellison that are near the back of the pack. They're going to be trying to push through the field as quickly as they can, but also as safely as you can, because if you push a little bit too hard, you're just going to ruin your day.
And ruin our day, we usually mean death on the track, and nobody wants to see any of that. Crawford, let's quickly run through our field here as the guys are all gridding up. Giovanni Romano in P1 with a blistering 14.065, followed by Jordan Babcock, Jeremy Rogers, Justin Lamons, John Patrick round out our top 5. In P6, Justin Hall, Andrew Fawcett, P7, Philip Linden, P8, Ryan Verhulst, P9, and Kyle Smith round out the top 10. Nate Franklin in P11, Brandon Schulhoff in P12, Antonio Alvarez, P13, Austin Burdick in P14 with a 14.351, John Honecker in P15, Daniel Bartz, P16, Mark Antonucci, P17, Brian Molitor, P18, Chris Flamian with a 14.431 and P19, and Alex Albert rounding out our top 20. Thomas Ellison, P21, Devin Peters, and Alex Crawford with, unfortunately, Crawford, you ran some laps out there, and no qualifying time for you, sir. Can you tell me what happened?
You know, it was just a little bit too much for me. I wasn't able to handle the car, so I decided to hop in the booth with you and present this cat.
And man, we are thrilled to have you. All right, these guys are gritting up here right now. Crawford, what are they feeling like in this car? It's cold tires. Let's check out see what our current track temps are. Ooh, that is chilly. That is a 74-degree track temp. You could almost, if you've got a cold beverage sitting up at the stage, you could almost set it on the track surface and cool your beverage. This is nervous times for guys in these cars right now.
Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of these drivers might have had a couple beverages too to calm their nerves and prepare for this race and kind of just get relaxed, get comfortable, and try to do the best that they can.
And my goodness, we can all hope they didn't have too many, because concentration is going to be of high importance here tonight on this track. Again, I'm very impressed with Giovanni Romano. He has been a very strong oval driver this season, and he typically is the dominant driver when it comes to the Dick Insider Hard Charger of the race. And let's make a quick note of our Dick Insider Hard Charger of the race award, which we award to the driver with a eligible qualifying time. So Alexander Crawford, you are not eligible for the Hard Charger award tonight, but this is given out every single RiL race to the driver that gains the most positions during the race period. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that competition tonight to see who does that. And these guys are coming through. Oh, bit of a checkup in the back. These guys are getting spicy already.
Yeah, and luckily all of our drivers have put in a qualifying time, so everyone, with the exception of me, are available to get the Dick Insider's Hard Charger. So a lot of these guys that are mid-pack, maybe a little bit farther in the back, that's going to be something they're interested in, trying to work their way through the field and get that award.
Yeah, the award is a very esteemed award, and people want that award. Crawford, this is a track that, as you race on, is going to bring in two separate grooves. That bottom groove is going to do one thing for you. That top groove is going to do another. Now, with a fixed setup, you can't exactly time out. You can't really plan out which groove you're going to want to race. So with the fixed setup, is it a driving style kind of thing, or were these guys going to start at the bottom and then move their way to the top?
Well, this one's actually open setup, so they were able to make the choice to build their car to their liking, inside or outside.
And speaking of to their liking, it is a green flag, and here we go. Giovanni Romano takes turn one, and it looks like everybody is going to run clean. I don't see any cars going sideways just yet, and I think they've done with a fantastic start by Giovanni Romano here.
Ooh, big wreck. Turn 3 and 4 already. Number 26, Brandon Schuhoff, has been punted into the...
That is unfortunate. You do not want to see that. And Crawford, we have raced exactly 30 seconds, and we already have a big issue. Crawford, could you talk me through what you saw on track there?
Yeah, so it looked like Brandon Schuhoff was just driving his line, and the number 30 car, that's Daniel Bartz, just got a little bit aggressive in there, almost forcing it 3 wide, and there just wasn't any room. Afterwards, the 911 of Devin Peters was collected as well. They didn't have too much damage, so I'm not sure that they're going to want to burn their fast repair, but either way, none of those drivers can be excited about wrecking on the first lap of the race.
You hate to see that, as I mentioned, 30 seconds into the race, but I can't deny that we did not see this coming. Crawford, as you mentioned at the very start there, breaking down that first incident, these guys have one fast repair. That is going to become a lifeblood in this race, and if anybody was caught out in that first incident and received any sort of terminal damage or received the dreaded meatball flag, they have exhausted that already. And unfortunately, it looks like Devin Peters and Austin Burdick were the victims of that, and they have likely already taken their fast repair. So very unfortunate to see. We're going to do a few pace laps around here. These guys hopefully cool some heads. We are going to have a single file restart, but my goodness, that was really, really quick here. So I think at the very start of this race, these guys really need to focus on wearing a groove into the track, and my goodness, getting some heat into the track and on these tires, because I think the bottom line's going to be the key line for probably the first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how the line develops as the race goes on. But as long as we're going into cautions, it's going to be hard for these guys to figure out exactly where they're at comfort level. So once we get a couple green flag laps in, that's when we'll start to see people, oh, I like the high side, or oh, I like the bottom side. And we'll start to see kind of packs and paths through that.
Now, we really do need to pay attention to how many cautions we end up hitting tonight. This should not be a fuel-restricted race. Everybody should be able to complete this without any sort of fuel adding necessary. However, I think we get into the 3, 4, 5 or plus caution range. We may end up seeing a few issues where these guys may end up need to be getting tight on fuel. And Alex, is it possible to actually save fuel here? I don't see many opportunities to lift, because I feel like here, if you're not on the gas, you're probably going to get the old shoehorn and bumped into and possibly moved out of the way.
Yeah, everyone's pushing so fast. It's got to be difficult to try to save fuel and not be a danger on the track. I feel like no matter what you do, you got to try to keep pace. And if you want to fuel save here, you might be able to in open air, but in the middle of a pack, it's just going to be dangerous.
All right, it looks like we are getting ready to go back to green here. The field is bunching back up. We do have Jordan Babcock sitting outside Giovanni Romano, looking opportunistic. Giovanni Romano is going to lead him to the green flag, and he goes. Get a huge jump on Jordan Babcock. Jordan Babcock got caught sitting flat-footed. Kyle Rogers may see an opportunity here. Looks like Giovanni Romano is going to stay on the high line here. Crawford, are we clean through the back?
We are. We're good to go so far.
Good to see. Good to see. We are really keeping a close eye on this, and I just remind everybody that it takes just over 14 seconds to do a lap here. So I don't even think I can open the fridge and close the fridge in 14 seconds. But my goodness, these guys are doing that in these cars with the loadovers. Oh, and my goodness, we've got Andrew. We've got a big incident again. Oh, Fussett, what did you see on track? I saw car number 9 with the big ol' incident.
Yeah, looking at this, it looks like Fawcett's trying to avoid Justin Hall. Justin gets into the wall and kind of bounces back into Fawcett, who punts into the wall, and then from there, people behind just unable to avoid.
Yeah, that was just really unfortunate. Like, I couldn't quite tell who had the opportunity there. Again, car number 94, that was Andrew Fawcett. I couldn't quite tell who was in the wrong there. One of them had a run, one didn't have a run, but we are just 10 minutes into this race, and we have entered our second caution. Crawford, did they know what patience is? I'm beginning to wonder.
If they don't, they're going to learn pretty quick, because about half of our field has already have some pretty significant damage, and some of them have already burned their fast repair. So if they don't develop some amount of patience, they're going to be out of this race relatively quickly.
Yeah, they will be out of that race quickly, and I'm looking through some pit times here, and we do already have some secondary pitters. Daniel Bartz appeared to be involved in that last race. Austin Burdick is now in the pit row for his second stop. So we now have 4 drivers who have taken – we have 5 drivers. Brendan Schulhoff in P12 has also grabbed himself – P15 has grabbed himself a pit stop as well. So we have lots of guys already considering pits just to either get a fast repair or maybe just stick on some new tires and are in it for the long haul. But my goodness, we have seen some action from the beginning, and I don't want to say that it's been irresponsible driving. I think these guys are just trying to find a groove, and 12 minutes and running just over how many laps we got here? 5 or 6 laps. That's enough to find a groove, is it?
I don't think so. I think we're going to need a little bit longer, and the real challenge that I see is we have a lot of cars that are just a little bit banged, aero damage, and maybe some minor chassis damage. When they start to get passed by the lap, or when they start to be lapped by the leaders, that's going to be key, trying to make your way through the slower cars, the damaged cars, without losing time and without losing your fast repair by causing a wreck.
I am looking through some quick best lap times here. I don't know what any sort of exercise this is going to, kind of expose for us. But as of right now, fast lap of the race belongs to Mr. Justin Lamons in P4 with a 14.495. That is the speediest lap on track right now. It was owned by Andrew Fawcett in P18. However, he has taken a pit stop, so his faster 14.394 is kind of all for naught at this point. So that is really unfortunate. He appeared to be very quick on track.
Yeah, that's maybe a silver lining, though. He knows that he's quick. He knows he can work his way through this field. That contact with Justin just looked like a little bit of a hook that was fully accidental. Can't really blame one or the other. So if he's able to keep it clean for the rest of the race, he's shown the pace. He can work his way.
I really think he can too. I think the lights are off on the pace car, so we will be approaching yet another attempt at multiple consecutive laps in a row without a caution. We still got Giovanni Romano in P1. Just outside him, Jordan Babcock. Hopefully Jordan Babcock can get himself a better start this time. He really got left behind on that last race. Let's see if Jordan's paying a little closer attention this time. My goodness, he's a little better this time for Jordan Beck. Jeremy Rogers is just again looking inside front by Justin Lamb is just inside. Hopefully Jordan's got himself a good run. He really, really does. And man, Giovanni Romano has done some fantastic restarts, the last two restarts here, and he's really, really looking good. Crawford, how are we looking in the back there?
It's looking a lot more responsible and a lot more mature. You can see these cars are up, and as I was saying that, we have another wreck. And this is Thomas Ellison and Brandon Chuloff, who's involved in our first wreck.
My goodness, I'm taking a quick review. And it looks like, who's that? Car number 26, Brian Schulhoff, just got into the wall, and Thomas Ellison just in a really bad place, really had nowhere to go. Just kind of slid down the track. His damage doesn't look too bad. That is likely going to be a fast repair effort for Thomas Ellison. Just a really unfortunate incident there. That's truly on a track this fast and that tight. Alex, he really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, but Tom's already had a beat-up car a little bit, and it just seems to be a little bit of aero damage, so maybe he'll stay out and save his fast repair for the big one where he's got maybe a blown motor or something that's catastrophically failing his car. But right now, I think he's going to stay out, and I think he's going to just chance that something's going to happen, and he's going to need that later on.
I think you're absolutely right. I was just watching Thomas Ellison make a quick dodge at the pit lane, and he just missed the commitment cone there. So Thomas Ellison is going to stay out again. I think you are probably right. He's going to look for that second effort should there be a larger wreck here. And Covered, let's talk about, since this track is so small, again, these guys are doing laps in 14 seconds, there is a pit lane on the front side and the backside. And I have made it very clear that I am not a frequent oval racer, but the times I have raced Bristol, my goodness, I think every race I have gone down the wrong pit road.
And nothing makes you feel maybe a little bit worse than realizing that you're going down the pit lane and it's not the right one. And you have to go back out, take another pit in, and then find your spot. And from then on, you're constantly in remembrance of your mistake, and you're worried that you're going to do it again.
Yeah, there is some definite shame when you are stuck on that pit lane speed. There are no pit speed limiters in these cars, so you got to be very careful. And you are stuck driving at a very slow pace, and my goodness, you got to take one extra pit stop or one extra drive down pit lane in this. You can lose a lap very quickly. Okay, so we are just over 10 minutes into this race. We are in our third caution, and we have some beautiful, I think some impressionistic art on the track with a lot of skid marks out there. We still have all cars on track right now. Everybody has taken their faster, well, not everybody, excuse me. We've got 7 cars that have taken their fast repair at this point. And unfortunately, Austin Burdick, my goodness, he has come down pit lane 3 times, yet he is somehow holding down a P15. So he either has a heck of a pit crew or he has a strategy that we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to get his crew to work on the car little bits by little bits. And again, I don't know if he has his fast repair or not, but just get that car a little bit better, make it handle a little bit more straight so that he's able to control the car, maybe dodge a wreck, avoid a wreck, or just be able to have a better pace as he continues through this race.
All right, the lights are off on the pace car. We are going to try this again. We have Giovanni Ronald remains in P1. Jordan Babcock remains in P2. Our top 6 cars have not swapped any positions at all. We're watching for the restart. Giovanni Romano again with a fantastic start. Jordan Babcock with a better effort this time, but Kyle Rogers again gets a very good run. Kyle Rogers continues to really work strong, and oh my goodness, Justin Lehman on the outside. Jeremy Rogers really trying there. Can't quite hold it. Jordan Babcock taking a very common line. Is the high dive and the low dive. I think Jordan Babcock is really looking for some green flag racing here because I think he's feeling confident that he can get himself a good run on Giovanni Romano. My goodness, has he gained some time.
Yeah, looking at the back here, it looks like a lot of these guys that have burned their fast repair or have damage are giving a little bit more space, understanding that one more mistake, and they're going to have to park it up, put their car on the trailer, and be a spectator. And nobody wants that this early. So a little bit more space, a little bit more respect given, and hopefully this leads to some longer green flag sim.
I think so too. I'm really focused on this top leader. Jordan Babcock is looking extremely strong against Giovanni Romano, and you're really watching the expertise of Jordan Babcock on Giovanni Romano. And here we go. He's going to try it. Oh, there was an inside. Giovanni was high. Jordan Babcock dives low. Jordan Babcock looks a lot stronger. Oh, and we've got another caution. We have a car driving a bit backwards down the track. Carver, what do you see back there?
Looks like Chris Flamion was involved. He was checking up. Someone in front of him, John Patrick, got into the wall, and then from there it's that domino effect. He hits Nate, who slams into the wall, and from there it's just a cascade effect of people trying to avoid the wreck. Some people are getting through, and some people, unfortunately, there's nowhere to go, and you just slam into the person in front of you.
And my goodness, I think you called it at that previous caution. We were kind of looking for a big one, and oh boy, there was a lot of cars involved in that one. Chris Flamion's car was not the prettiest girl at the dance, and my goodness, it just got a lot worse after that incident here. We have a smoking car on track. Carver, can you pop up there and see who is dropping some oil on the track?
I haven't seen that. Someone's blown something, apparent.
Yeah, Alex, I apologize. It appears I was a little delayed on that, but man, we have seen a whole bunch of issues. These guys are all bunching back up here, but that number of fast... Oh, that was unfortunate. Nate Frank, it looks like that is our smoker on track dropping a bit of oil. But the field is slowly dwindling on the availability of our fast repairs as we now have almost half the field. And it looks like we are starting to see some pit stops as well. Carver, who do you see on pit lane?
We have a whole bunch of people on pit lane. We have everyone that was damaged, and then we also have Brendan Shuloff, Nate Franklin, John Honecker, Mark Antonucci, and Chris Flamion, and Thomas Ellison.
That is a whole collection down there. I think these guys are starting to watch the clock on this race, and this is a time capped race. We have 55 minutes to get this race completed. Obviously, we're trying to complete as many laps as we can. The estimated laps are 221, but I just don't know if we're going to get there. We may get to 45 to 50 laps by the time this thing is done if these boys don't start behaving themselves.
Well, just one fast repair. We already have now Andrew Fawcett has taken his car behind the wall, so I do not expect to see him for the rest of this race. He had heavy damage, and we're running out of fast repairs for this entire field. So really quickly, a lot of these guys that are in these incidents and accidents, they're not going to be available to be out there anymore. They're going to be meatballed, and they're going to have to put it on the trailer and open a cold one because their day will be done.
You just don't want to see that. Just to give everybody at home an idea right now, there are 11 cars that have not taken a fast repair of our 22-car field. And, yeah, Fleming is still down in the pits. And I think what you just said, taking a cold one and saying, you know what, I'm just going to go up in the club level and have a cold beer and enjoy the rest of the race. I think Chris Fleming may have reached that point right now.
You know, a lot of these guys might be at that point. It's risk management and just understanding where you're at and what your chances are moving forward, deciding if you can fight your way through the rest of the race, or maybe, you know what, we'll try it again next weekend.
Yeah, I'm really going to keep an eye on this top battle here. Giovanni Romano and Jordan Babcock. We are coming back to green flag. Giovanni Romano. Oh, Jordan Babcock. Oh, my goodness. That is probably his worst restart yet. You hate to see that. My goodness. And Jeremy Rogers takes full advantage of that, as well as Justin Lamb is really looking for an opportunity there. Jordan Babcock trying to get it back. Just can't quite do it. So Giovanni Romano retains his podium spot, and he is looking to pull away from a very, very hungry Jordan Babcock, with Jeremy Rogers now in P2.
Looking at the back, we have her mid-pack, actually. Philip Linden is holding off on Alex Albert and Tom Ellis, and they're trying to make their way through. This is still too wide going back P13, P12, P11, and eventually they got to sort themselves out, right? Oh, as Alex spins and Tom gets into him, and that's another caution that we have. The number 7 car spins too, and now we're getting into a big traffic jam, and we're getting damage as well.
Oh my goodness, that was a massive incident. Alex Albert just got completely sideways, and boy, do we have a full-on roadblock in the middle of the track there. I'm going to go back and look at that incident with Alex Albert. Crawford, it looks like he just got loose all by himself, maybe a bit too heavy up on the wheel, driving a little too aggressive, but that looked like a self-inflicted incident there.
Yeah, that's what I think too. As stated earlier, this is open setup. So if you design your car to handle well on the outside line, but you get stuck as a restart on the inside, maybe you're just not driving the way that you want to, and the car handles a little bit different, a little bit goofy, and then you're not sure what to do. And like that happened, the ass end just kicks out, and unfortunately, you're a spectator at that point.
Yeah, we've unfortunately got a barbecue on the track. We have a few barbecues on the track. We got Devin Peters is pulling into lane right now. He has taken his fast repair. He has cooled off that barbecue, extinguished that barbecue, and moving himself back on track. The field of non-fast repairs has remained the same. So, Crawford, it appears all of the troublemakers are in the middle of the pack, and our top 11 group remain crispy clean cars. What are the front guys doing different than the back guys, other than being patient or more responsible? That's not fair, because I'm sure these guys back here also are attempting to do the same.
I feel like if you're all the way in the back and the mid pack gets a little rowdy, starts to cause issues and wreck, sometimes you don't really have a choice. You don't do anything wrong. You just get collected. You slam on the brakes, maybe someone hits you from behind, or you can't see the wreck happen and you get collected. But if you're at the front, you got clean air, and you just have the person or two people in front of you, and you're able to avoid the wrecks. And by the time that the caution comes out, you just cruise to, as Devin Peters gives a little love to Chris Flamion on the pace lap, which looks like maybe a little minor damage. Nothing there, as Chris is now brake checking Devin Peters. So maybe a little bit of hostilities going on here. I'm not too sure, but these guys obviously have some tempers going, some emotions going. They're here. Devin is championship leader. He might not like what's happened yet so far.
I don't think he would feel the same. I think you've expected his in the car feelings probably quite well. Speaking of championship, I want to give a quick shout out to Jeremy Rogers, currently in P2. Alex, he is running P2 in the rookie standings, just behind John Honecker. He is a new driver to the series this year, and my goodness, this is a fantastic showing. Also, I want to give a quick shout-out to the team standings. We have Alex and Justin currently leading the team standings with 187 points. Tom and Shane in P2. Jordan and Andrew in P3, Devin and Philip in P4, Antonio and Chris in P5. And just outside of that, Brian and Daniel with P6, John and Mark in P7, and Austin and Justin in P8. So these guys are battling for more than just one driver's championship. These guys are also battling for some team standings. And the lights have gone out on the pace car, and our rookie second-place leader, Jeremy Rogers, is looking for an opportunity to potentially make a move on a championship point leader. A second, Giovanni Romano.
Yeah, our defending champ Giovanni is still up front. Maybe he'll have a challenge on the outside now, because obviously Jordan Babcock was having a little bit of brain lag as restarts were.
And he's done it again, so Giovanni Romano remains very clean on that restart, and we have P28 Jordan Babcock looking to make a move already on Kyle Rogers.
Another wreck. Tom is upside down into the wall. He is crashed heavily, and oh boy, that was a big hit right on the restart.
Yeah, I just don't know how much patience Tom Ellison is going to have to remain in this race. As we've said before, oh my goodness, he just got really, really pitted by Austin Burdick. That was just, I don't know if that was an issue where Thomas wasn't quite aware of how much of a run that Austin Burdick had, but I worried that that was maybe a communication error on where those two guys intended to be with their cars, but my gosh, Thomas Ellison, this is just not his race so far. And unfortunately, because of that incident and the others before that, we are now down to 10 cars that have not yet taken their fast repair. Alex,
yeah,
these guys are going to calm down.
They do, because right there, Tom was just trying to get through on the restart. He had to run on the guy in front of him, which was Philip Linden, and Austin Burdick was just on the outside, and no one wants to give an inch. No one wants to take just that little bit of space, allow someone through, because they're the ones that want to make up the spots. They want to climb through this field and have a good, strong finish. But unfortunately, it's causing a lot of issues. And if we're not able to stay clean, it's going to be about who finishes at all rather than who finishes in first.
Absolutely. And we are just short of the halfway period here. But Alex, because we have so much time to just talk, and I love talking with you. This is wonderful. We have an early runner in our Dick Insider hard charger of the race with Devin Peters, who is up 10 spots. He started P22, dead last tonight, and he is working his way up. However, Devin Peters has also had his share of issues. He has also been down pit lane 3 times, which means his fast repair is likely gone. So Devin Peters is having himself a difficult night, but doing a quick glance of the car, it's a pretty shiny car right now. So he took that fast repair and appears to be keeping his nose clean.
Yeah, he does have some competitors for that award, though. Brian Molitor is up 9 spots. He's in 9th place. And Alex Albert, who I anticipate to really have a strong showing the second half of this race, he's up 6 spots in 14th. So he has a lot of spots that he can gain if he's able to keep the car clean and keep moving forward.
That is a great point. Now, Alex Cover, what do you think Jordan Babcock needs to do? He is clearly the fan favorite here. I mean, there are so many Jordan Babcock shirts I saw coming in through the turnstiles tonight, just Babcock fans everywhere. Babcock knows that there's going to continue to be cautions in this race, and he really needs to get in front of Giovanni Romano, because I highly anticipate this race likely ending under caution. What does Jordan have to do to get up there? Number one, just improve his starts.
I wonder if he's a little bit distracted by all the fandom that he has here. Everyone's been chanting his name. Everyone's been seeking out him for his autographs. And clearly he's been distracted on restart. So I don't know if he's looking at the fans, giving them a thumbs up, or maybe that's just not his strong suit. But if he can stay consistent and improve upon his restarts, he's got a real chance to challenge for the win.
That is a great point. I have never had any fans. I am a terrible driver, but Jordan Babcock, my goodness, does he have a lot of strength when it comes to this. Okay, pace car lights are out. Giovanni Romano is leading the field to yet another restart. How is he going to do this? Jordan Babcock going to maintain. Jordan Babcock go with the restart this time. Fantastic restart by Jordan Babcock with Jeremy Rogers just in front of him. Jordan Babcock keeping that low line with a fantastic run. My goodness, that was a strong drive on the bottom side there. Coffin, are we clean in the back? I'm afraid to ask.
I think we are. I think I might curse it by saying that, Kyle Smith is really close to John Patrick there. They are like nose to tail, too wide as well, but everyone's staying clean so far. Everyone's giving some space. Let's keep.
Yeah, this is a really interesting battle here between Kyle.
And as I say it, the number 10's in the wall. Number 19's in the wall. We have a big wreck.
My goodness, that was a whole slew of cars. And Carter, right when you're talking about that one, I was watching Antonio Alvarez, who unfortunately also had himself an issue, unforced error. So, wow, that really took a big chunk of cars off the track, and the number of fast repairs continues to dwindle down. And Crawford, I lost my sheet of paper where I was keeping tally of how many fast repairs, or excuse me, how many cautions we are at. But I don't think there's any point in keeping count at this time. Let's just try and get through this race. And boy, we just want to see some good racing.
I'm with you on that. Unfortunately, it looked like Brian slid up a little bit towards the number 12, and that's Ryan Verhulst. And it might have been a little bit of net code, to be honest, there, because there wasn't much contact initially, but it turned Brian into the wall. And then, as usual, everyone behind is just a sitting duck at that point. They're the ones that are driving their line. There's a big wreck in front of them, and there's nowhere to go.
It's just so hard to see that. You don't want to see that. You do occasionally see a car go flying around the pace car. Do not be alarmed, everyone. There is a lucky dog in this race. That is someone who is at the back of the field, possibly a lap down, that receives a gentle and generous opportunity to get their lap back and go around that pace car. As I said, when I'd race oval, I was a frequenter of the lucky dog. And man, that feels really good to say, hey, everybody, I'm going to get my lap back. And then subsequently, the next lap, I probably get it again. But man, it feels good to get that lucky dog. So if you do see a car flying around the pace car, do not be alarmed. That is an awarded opportunity. So Crawford, we are now 6 cars remaining that have not taken a fast repair. The lucky recipients of that are Giovanni Romano, Jordan Babcock, Jeremy Rogers, Justin Lamons, Justin Hall, and Kyle Never Lift Smith is up 4 spots into P6, and my goodness, what a drive. And I recall you saying that Kyle Smith just edged out avoiding that last wreck, right?
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. And unfortunately for Antonio Alvarez, he was braking into the corner and had some snap oversteer trying to correct it. So his accident was actually totally unrelated to the Verhulst-Brian Molitor incident behind him, but eventually everyone caught up to him that was avoiding that wreck, and that actually caused quite a bit of damage as well. So 2 separate incidents at that point that really kind of blocked off the whole track and made it really difficult for anyone to go anywhere.
My goodness, what a big deal. So unfortunately, it looks like we have a few other drivers that have just taken the opportunity to take it to club level, and it looks like Andrew Fawcett, Chris Flammey, and possibly Antonio Alvarez. He's been in there for a very, very long time, and Thomas Ellison. I wonder if we have a few more folks in the race here. And I apologize. Chris Flammey is on track. I thought he was at club level, but I thought I heard a whole case of wine popping, but I guess not. Flammey still is on track. I apologize.
I think that's just, his crew preparing for maybe the end of the race, getting it ready so that when he gets out of the car, he's got a refreshing beverage for him right then.
That is fair. I'm going to ask our producer to pop in the driver's seat of Jeremy Rogers to watch us on this restart. We just really want to get a good feel for this track and give ourselves at least a couple laps of green flag racing before we get going. Jeremy Rogers with a nice restart. Jordan Babcock with a much better restart. We like to see that. Also, Jordan Babcock has shown himself to be very strong on the outside, and he continues to be very strong on the outside. And Jeremy Rogers is dropping back in line, running that middle line, just as unlike Antonio Alvarez and Jordan Babcock, who are taking the high line and diving back in. I think it's his driving style. Okay, Carver, I'm afraid to ask, are we clean in the back? As boy, the action's getting pretty intense up here in the front, but I want to make sure we're going to stay green.
I'm not even going to say anything. We're good so far. We're going to hope for the same. Right now we have John Patrick on the outside of Brian Molitor. He's making his way back through the field. John Patrick is definitely, and as I say it, oh, there's another incident. And number 6 is spun backwards. He's into the wall. That is Justin Hall. That's one of our front runners that hadn't burned his fast repair. It looks like Nate Franklin got right into the back of him, gave him a little bump, and then, as per tradition, there's nowhere for people to go, and they cause a big bump fest in the back.
Yeah, that was the old chrome horn, I think. Unfortunately for Justin Hall, and Nate Franklin just got a little anxious on there. But I think Justin Hall has been very, very smart with his fast repairs. He's going to pop in there, get this car cleaned up. I think he's taken a few too many hits where it's time to get that puppy cleaned up. And that is so unfortunate because I was getting ready to shout on the microphone that Jordan Babcock had made a pass for the lead. But right when he got a wonderful run, coming off of 3 and 4, he unfortunately had to adhere to the yellow flag, and Jordan Babcock almost got the job done, and we almost heard this stadium absolutely explode.
Well, I'm sure he'll have another chance, and I'm sure his fans will be excited when it happens. But I know Nate Franklin finished P2 in the second split of the Bathurst 12-hour yesterday, and he definitely had some run-ins with some GT3s of them not giving a lot of space and kind of giving some bumps and some wrecks. And so he might have some pent-up aggression and pent-up anger built towards just cars around him, and maybe that's what guided him towards the rear end of Justin Hall.
Yeah, I totally understand that aggression can carry over for many, many hours, even days, because running for 12 hours at Bathurst is an exhausting and likely anger-inducing situation there. So, my goodness, let's do a quick check-in on our Dick Insider stats of the race, our Dick Insider hard chargers of the race. We have Devin Peters up 13 spots, started in P23, and just behind that we have a very anxious Daniel Barnes up 9 spots. So, my goodness, Devin Peters is making a heck of a recovery drive here, but Alex, I am very worried that he is getting in the middle of that pack that we have continued to see cause a lot of problems. So I don't want to say that his Dick Insider award is remotely safe.
Yep, and last time we talked, he had a nice shiny car, and this time that we're talking, he's definitely got a decent amount of war wounds on that 911 car. So it's nothing catastrophic. It's nothing that's going to keep him out of this race, but all these little incidents, these bangs and bruises can add up. So he does not have a fast repair. He needs to make sure that his car stays in good condition for the remainder of this race.
That is a fantastic point. And now we mentioned at the very beginning of this race that there is a opportunity or a likelihood that we may run into some fuel issues if the cautions get in the 3 to 5 range. We have eclipsed that within about 10 minutes, with just over 20 minutes left to go in this race. Do these guys start looking at that fuel gauge, start watching for that fuel pressure? Because we are getting to the point of this race where we have not run a lot of green flag laps. So I think they should all be completely fine on fuel at this point. And I don't think they're probably having any issues with the tires. So from a pit crew standpoint, this is just a run and gun until the end of the race. And I think these guys are feeling okay. No more concerns. They're just trying to run some green flag laps at this point.
Yeah, as the pace car goes in, and Giovanni Romano gets a great run. He's able to take a big lead out of Jeremy Rogers and Jordan Babcock. So he's well ahead of everyone else.
Oh, that was a super close incident there, super close moment for Jordan Babcock. He almost kissed the outside wall coming out of NASCAR 3 and 4. He almost touched the outside wall. Jeremy Rogers is really looking for this spot to stick. Jordan Babcock is running the high line as much as he possibly can. He is getting he gets loose again right there. Jordan Babcock, I really think that sense of urgency of he needs to get up to Giovanni Romano to get those spaces, and I'm really worried he's heating up that right rear tire.
A lot of these guys that might want to pit for tires are probably delaying it. They know all of these wrecks have been happening. They don't want to be involved in it. They don't want to be in the danger zone of being behind these wrecks. So they might be just waiting until maybe the herd thins out a little bit. We get rid of the sick, we get rid of the old and the weak, and then they can pit for fuel. They can pit for new tires and push this car and try to make a run for the end.
Yeah, and my goodness, has Jeremy Rogers shown himself if he can get some green flag laps?
Ryan Verhulst has a spin. Ooh, but he goes into pit lane. A little bit of style points if that's what he was intending. I know it wasn't, but he makes minor contact with the tire barrier, and now he is actually going towards his pit stop.
that is extremely convenient. Yeah, that is an extremely convenient effort right there. A nice self-spin and right into the pit lane. It may not be the right pit lane, but at least you got it good and wound up. And I am continuing to watch this battle for P1, 2, and 3. Oh, and just as I say that, Giovanni Romano gives a nice kiss with his right rear fender on the outside wall.
We have a spin, and that's Daniel Bartz. He is stopped on the back straight, and Alex Albert, oh no, that's John Patrick, smashes really hard into him. They are both towing back to pit.
We are just, it's just, you can't. Yeah, Crawford, if you could walk us through the wreck there, I'm trying to find the replay, but did anybody go airborne? And did everybody keep all four wheels on the track?
I'm not sure. It looks like Daniel Bartz gets a little bit loose. He pushes up top, which is, he runs into the number 19 car, and that is Philip Linden. And from there, there's contact. It pushes Daniel Bartz around sideways, and John Patrick smashes into him at almost full.
Yeah, huge, and we have some developments. We have all the cars not taking fast repairs. We have cars doing complete pit stops. I just watched everybody take tires and maybe even a splash of fuel, but my goodness, everyone that did not pit it in. We have Jordan Babcock, Giovanni Romano, Jeremy Rogers, Justin Lambert, Kyle, so all those guys have taken a pit stop now. So those front runners potentially have some very clean cars and potentially enough fuel to fill any concerns, and maybe even some fresh tires, because I watched a few of these cars go up on jacks. Did they maybe take some right side tires? Because the tires on these cars aren't exactly the most durable things you can put on.
No, these are bias ply tires, so they wear out relatively quickly, and it's shown when Babs was getting loose, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make these passes stick for him, so he's going to try again with sticker tires and try to make these moves happen, because he wants to be in the front position, the lead position when these cautions come out, and he wants to lead this pack going forward.
Yeah, we just got confirmation from our pit reporter that they did take tires. But, man, the whole top five is shaken up. We have Nate Franklin, who started in P11, is now in P1 up 10 spots. And our golden goose this race when it comes to gaining positions, Mr. Devin Peters, started in P22, who's now in P2, has gained 20 positions. And so, my goodness, so now our whole top three potential podium is Nate Franklin, Devin Peters, and Philip Linden, followed by Giovanni Romano, Jeremy Rogers, Jordan Babcock, Justin Lemons, and Kyle Smith. So we've kind of done a bit of a flip-flop here. But let's not forget that everybody from P4 all the way through through Kyle Smith has taken tires. So these guys are going to be extremely quick, and they have a lot of work to do with just 15 minutes left in this race, and with probably not a lot of green flag racing.
For sure. They're going to want to get through this quickly. And looking back at this, there was another secondary wreck. So a lot of these people, Alex Albert was involved, John Honecker was involved, Antonio Alvarez, Justin Hall, and Brian Molitor were all in this wreck.
And yeah, just before we go back to green flag here, we got one more call from the pit road. We have potentially a new award for the pit road award. John Honecker has been through the pits 11 times. And Crawford, we are just now approaching green flag here. Nate Franklin, this is the first green flag Nate Franklin is going to take from the P1 position. Or excuse me, Devin Peters. Let's see how he does. These guys are going for it. And Nate Franklin jumps it off. Devin, a nice run. Giovanni Romano, we'll keep an eye on him. He is back in the P4 position. He has a lot of spots to gain, but remember, he did take tires and really strong driving. I think we are seeing it already with those fresh tires of Giovanni Romano. He's already making quick work of Philip Linden. And here he comes. His sights is now set on Devin Peters and Nate Franklin. I'm going to be watching these sector times because, my goodness, he is looking very quick out there.
That's going to maybe convince some of the people running farther back that if these guys can just fly through on fresh tires, that the next time that we get a caution, if we get another one, that might be their chance to do the same thing, get some fresh tires and try to run through the field.
I think I'm looking for that too, but I am really impressive with what Devin Peters is able to do with Giovanni Romano. He is holding his own when it comes to old tires versus new tires. But let's also keep in mind that Devin Peters likely also took himself a... we have another caution.
Yeah, this looks like it was the 26 car of Brandon Schuhoff getting into the wall. It looks like it was almost 3 wide at one point, and he just pushed into the wall. Ryan Verhulst kind of bumps into him off the rebound, and they get into the number 20 of Antonio Alvarez too. And from there, Ryan Verhulst slides up, kind of makes light contact with the wall. I don't think anyone got too damaged on that. Nothing major, but it will bring out another caution.
We are at caution. I want to throw a number, maybe caution 35 to 40, but my goodness, there have been a lot of them in this race. So we have just over 12 minutes left, and Giovanni Romano made some very quick work of Devin Peters just before that caution came out. And I just want to be very clear that Nate Franklin was very, very quick on that last quick stint there. So Giovanni Romano, though he may have fresher tires than Nate Franklin, I think Nate Franklin is feeling very racy in his current P1 position. So fantastic work. Let's do a quick kind of look down. Jordan Babcock batting back with Jeremy Rogers and Philip Lynn and Kyle Smith. Justin Lammon's Justin Lammon's having a tough race. He's down 4 spots in this race. And unfortunately, John Patrick as well, still running as currently the biggest loser of Car Stolen Track, down 10 spots. He started P5 tonight and currently running in P15. Whew, this is intense. And Crawford, I have an update. Our pit lane champion John Honecker on that last stop, he took another pit stop, so he is now up to 12 visits down pit lane in this race.
His crew chief is definitely getting their money's worth, because 12 pit stops is, I mean, that is so much work. I know I would be waiting for a fresh Dick cider after this race if I had to work on the car 12 separate times.
Now, we all know that racing is not cheap, and we're not entirely sure what John Honecker is doing down there. If he is driving down there, maybe he's grabbing a quick drink, maybe he's taking a potty break, maybe he's taking tires. If he's taking tires, these boys better take out a bank loan to cover up the tire budget for this race, because, my goodness, these guys are racking up ones. So, as of right now, we remain with Nate Franklin and Giovanni Romano, and Devin Peters are our top 3. And we both know that Giovanni Romano has been very, very good at the restarts tonight, and he's going to be keeping a close eye on Nate Franklin. I really think Giovanni is starting in his preferred line. He's really preferred that high line, where Nate Franklin, with a little bit of damage on the car, may not prefer the bottom line. But again, I'm not going to remotely speak like I know what it means to be quick here at the circle tracks. But my goodness, does Giovanni look strong.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Giovanni and Jordan Babcock are able to make a strong move on the outside and hold off and actually get in front of the leader, Nate Franklin, and third place of Devin Peters. They're in their spot that they like to be. They both look like they have clean cars, and to be honest, maybe that's where you want to be in one of these restarts.
I really do. Okay, we have just at 10 minutes left in this race. The lights on the pace car are off, and we are getting ready to go green for hopefully at least 5 minutes of some green flag racing, as Nate Franklin is going to bring us to the green flag for the 432nd time, and waiting for him to go. And Giovanni Romano gets a really good start. Nate Franklin looking for the opportunity as well.
Yep, in the back we have Chris Flamion right on the back of Austin Burdick. They are trying to make moves. There's only 10 minutes left in this race, so everyone's going as fast as they can, try to work their way through this field, either by passing people or getting through them before the caution.
Yeah, Giovanni Romano is staying very close to Nate Franklin. Nate Franklin is really doing his best to try and break away here, but Giovanni Romano is running his very favorite line topside and then staying across the middle. He's running some very good times. I'm a little concerned. I don't know if you're seeing it on your end, but Nate Franklin is blinking a little bit. If that is happening in front of Giovanni Romano, that is very unfortunate, because that is going to be a big hindrance to Giovanni Romano's opportunity. And just as I said, Jordan Babcock is looking to make a potential run on Giovanni Romano, with Jordan Babcock running that bottom line.
Yeah, in a little bit farther back we have Kyle Smith. Looks like he's trying to make a move on the inside of Devin Peters. with Austin Burdick right behind him. Ooh, he gets a little slow out of the corner. It might be 3 wide going into this. You do not want to do that here. Austin Burdick wisely lifts off a little bit, lets Kyle have the spot, and now we're back to single file.
Yeah, and here we go. I really think the time is about to come. Just over 8 minutes left in this race.
Oh, no. Philip Linden in the wall. Another caution. Kyle Smith looks like he got into the left rear quarter panel of him, spun him around. Austin Burdick gave him a little bump afterwards, and some moderate damage smashing into the inside wall.
My goodness, Kyle Smith running such a strong race. Is the car going to be okay, Crawford, or what does it look like for Kyle Smith?
I think for Kyle Smith, it's going to be all right. Really, it was kind of just a pit maneuver on him, and his car is going to be fine. Austin Burdick, same thing, maybe a little bump and bruise, but realistically, nothing that's going to affect his race whatsoever.
Okay, well, we have just under 7.5 minutes remaining in this race, and I think the remaining of these pace laps are going to take us down to probably just over 5 minutes. So, man, Giovanni Romano was looking extremely, extremely strong on those last couple laps, and I am anxious to see how long Nate Franklin can hold out here, because my goodness, with Giovanni looking strong, but Nate Franklin is very, very good on the restarts, and I really think if Nate Franklin can get another very good restart, hold 2 strong laps, and just pray. He may not have to pray very hard, but just pray for one more caution. I think Nate Franklin can pull off this win starting from P11.
It's a interesting strategy to stay out on old tires, but it's definitely paying off up to this point. He's got 2 really good oval drivers on fresh tires behind him, so he's going to be hounded all the way to the finish, whether it stays green or whether there's cautions. But right now, I mean, with 6 minutes left, it's hard to fault Nate for choosing the point or the place that he put himself in, which currently is P1.
That is not a bad spot to be in. When you mentioned old tires versus new tires, Nate Franklin pitted 65 laps ago. 65. Giovanni Romano pitted just over 21 laps ago. So that is a significant difference in what those tires are able to offer for Nate Franklin versus Giovanni Romano. However, also, these laps have not these tires have not done a lot of laps, so Nate Franklin has probably only done maybe 20 really hard laps on these tires, and Giovanni Romano has maybe done really 8 hard laps on these tires. So as much as we want to start to postulate about who has the better tires, I just don't know there's been enough green flag running in order for that to be impactful. But I really think we're going to see it before we go green. And my goodness, yeah, we're coming just down to about 5.5 minutes here, and I think we'll go green with about 4 minutes to go. And Crawford, I really, really want to see this go green until the end, but I just don't know if these boys can do it tonight.
Well, if they can, there will be about 20 laps to go. So it would be a pretty significant, maybe not in a normal scenario, but according to these guys, it would be their longest green flag run so far. So hopefully we can get that. Hopefully we can stay clean, see some good passing, and go green all the way to the finish. Because right now, I know that these guys want to pass. They don't enjoy pacing. They want to make the moves and make the moves stick so that they can move through this field.
All right, the field is coming through on the backstretch now, and we are seeing the Babcock Nation on their feet. They really want to see Jordan Babcock make a strong effort with just over 4 minutes left in this race. So my goodness, what can be done here? Nate Franklin is being the field. Jordan Babcock, oh my goodness, an extremely strong start from Jordan Babcock. He may have missed a shift a little bit. Giovanni Romano got a way better start, but Jordan Babcock underneath Giovanni Romano, right on Nate Franklin, who goes very high on the straight there. And my goodness, Jordan Babcock has found himself in P2 with just over 4 minutes left to go.
We have the spin on the back straight, but it is by himself as Brandon Schuloff. So I don't think that's going to bring out a caution. It doesn't. So this is good. We stay green. Giovanni Romano is... Oh, as I say that, there's a big wreck. The number 20 is involved. The number 12 of Ryan Verhulst.
Yeah, we are watching the replay here, and oh my coffer, that's a pirouette, I think is what you call on the ice rink, but you never want to see it on the racetrack.
Yeah, looks like Mark Antonucci just kind of got bumped in between the number 19 of Philip Linden, and then from there he kind of was back and forth between the 33 of Alex Albert and the 12 of Ryan Verhulst. They come down, collect Antonio Alvarez, who smashes into the wall very heavily. His engine is definitely blown, and that will bring us to another caution.
We don't know what that feels like. Okay, we have one more caution to work through with this race, you guys. We appreciate everyone's patience, as this has been a very difficult race for the drivers in the car, and I'm sure it's a bit frustrating for these guys because they just want to run some green flag laps. But as we talked about at the beginning of the race, this is a 650 horsepower car on pretty much you're pretty much driving in a salad bowl here. This is extremely difficult to keep this car under control. And the track temperature has risen a bit. We started the race at 74 degrees, now 77 degrees. I think that is doing absolutely nothing for these guys. I think had we had some green flag racing, it may have gotten up into the mid 80s, where these guys would have found a bit more grip, maybe even put some rubber on the track. But at this point, with just 2 minutes left, it is just how much are you willing to risk it? And I think Giovanni Romano is thinking that right now. In order to get this win, how much do I want to risk it?
And you've got to wonder, maybe the place to be is fourth where Jeremy Rogers is, or fifth with Justin Lamons. These guys up front might be finally making their move and might cause the incident where the guys 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th are able to make the pass for the win. I wouldn't count out those guys all the way down to Kyle Smith, Devin Peters in 6th, 7th. You never know what's going to happen. We've had a lot of incidents, a lot of wrecks, and to be honest, if one of these guys was able to slip through, it wouldn't be too surprising.
It would not be too surprising. Okay, so we have likely one more to go on the caution laps here, and just over or just under 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this race. I believe they're going to try it one more time to get a green flag into this. And I'm trying to remember if we do have the green and white checker rule here in the league session. I hope we do, because I really think these guys all want to finish under green, but I think we're going to go green hopefully on the next lap here.
That would be ideal. I would like to see everyone finish under green as well. But right now, with such a small field, and again, we have people on different age tires. Some have been out for 60, 70 laps, like Nate Franklin, some a little bit less. So I really feel like there's a lot of potential for some good driving here at the end, and like to see us finish under green flag.
All right, the lights are off in the pace car, and I think we are going to give it the good old college try to try and finish this race. And this is going to be by far our most exciting restart of the night, because they're going to come right across the line. And we are seeing roughly, 2 laps to go with this. So Jordan Babcock, this has got to be his best restart of the night. Giovanni Romano's got to be his best restart of the night. Nate Franklin needs to make it a good one. And my goodness, both of those guys get a fantastic restart. Giovanni Romano on the outside, taking his high line. Jordan Babcock on his low line. Okay, these guys are going to be aggressive. They really got to go here. They're going to come to the flag with 1 lap to go. Giovanni Romano goes wide and smacks the wall. Jordan Babcock's going to go low.
Yeah, farther back we have Kyle Smith diving on the inside of Alex Albert for position.
And I really think Nate Franklin is going to take this checkered flag here. I think he's done it. Nate Franklin has taken the win. My goodness, what an exciting run. Nate Franklin with not his best restart of the night. Jordan Babcock with a very good restart. Giovanni Romano with also a very good restart. But my goodness, Giovanni Romano got a bit loose, hit the outside wall, may have caused Jordan Babcock to check up a little bit. But Nate Franklin, all the way from P11 to first place tonight. That is a heck of a showing, and it is also time to award our Dick Insider Hard Charger of the race, and that is going to go to Mr. Devin Peters, starting from dead last in P22 all the way up to P6, gaining 16 positions tonight. So congratulations to Devin Peters, who is our Dick Insider Hard Charger of the race. Well, Alex, I want to say I'm exhausted from calling that race, but I'm not exhausted from the action on the track. I'm exhausted from talking because, my goodness, do we have a lot of cautions tonight.
We did. I think some of these guys were caught off guard with the aggression and just maybe the power of this car on this small track. They weren't ready for it, and it really. I saw a couple cars go at it with each other, maybe giving a little, "Hey, what's up?" After the race to let them know what they thought of them, because there was a lot of incidents and accidents and a lot of bumping and grinding throughout this race.
My goodness, was that intense. Well, we have ourselves a podium, and that is Nate Franklin, Jordan Babcock, and Giovanni Romano. We are going to try and grab our winner tonight, Mr. Nate Franklin. Let's see if we can get Mr. Nate Franklin into the booth. Give me just a moment here. And we now have our winner tonight, Nate Franklin. Nate, congratulations, sir. That was a lot of cautions, but that was some fantastic, appeared to be some pit strategy on your end to work your way all the way up 10 spots for the win tonight.
Yeah, thank you, guys. It was a lot of fun, really tough race. And I apologize to Justin a bunch of times for taking him out on the way through, but I think it might have been a bit of netcode. My internet kind of started pinging a little bit when I was leading, so it made it difficult for anybody to try to pass me, but it sorted itself out, and Giovanni had a really good run on his fresh tires at the end there. I thought he was going to take it, but he bumped the wall, kind of gifted the win to me, so.
Yeah, Nate, you had roughly 40 lap older tires than Antonio, but you get some really fantastic restarts. What was the key to make sure that those restarts really kept you in front of him with those fresher tires on the potential of a longer run?
As soon as the pace car went in, I was going, and I was surprised it worked that many times. But I guess he caught on to it, but I just had enough to pull up in front of him. I think that was the biggest factor. If I could get completely in front of him, it was extremely difficult to pass. So.
Well, Nate, congratulations, my man. That is a fantastic win tonight, and some patience and a bit of strategy. I think it got you a fantastic win and some good restarts. Any thanks or shout-outs before you leave the booth tonight?
Big shout out to Team Huge Ass. We had a double podium this weekend at Bathurst, so great result there. And yeah, great thanks. Big thanks to the team for the support, putting together a win tonight.
Thank you, Nate Franklin. We are now going to grab in our P2 driver, Jordan Babcock and Alexander Crawford. I am going to let you speak to the man himself, Mr. Jordan Babcock, the leader of Babcock Nation, who is an overwhelming attendance tonight.
Jordan, you have a lot of fans here that were really excited to see you. It seemed like restarts were kind of maybe not your strong suit. Can you walk us through what was going through on the restarts?
I'm a firm believer that as a single monitor person, that starting second is the hardest thing to do in iRacing.
Yeah, we could see that. It definitely seemed like the pole sitter had an advantage going through on restarts. Also, there was a ton of cautions. There's a lot of accidents. Was there a lot of drama going on in chat? Were the drivers pretty upset, or were they pretty relaxed and chill about it?
There were a couple moments where people were getting a little angry, but there's some wise people to tell them to save it for the post-race.
Good. What would you say to all of your fans to see you finish second place here in Bristol?
I just wanted to give a shout out to my boys, Kyle, Joe, and Devin for watching. Thanks for watching. You guys are the best. IUP USA, let's go. Let's get weird. Salt the stand.
Well, Jordan, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, and great drive on second place.
Yep, thank you guys.
My goodness, I don't think the Babcock Nation could have wanted anything more from that post-race interview. And now we are going to grab our P3 finisher, Mr. Giovanni Romano, with a very strong drive tonight. He unfortunately lost out on P1, down 2 positions, but a P3, you could not complain. Giovanni Romano, sir, welcome to the booth, and talk us through what it was like to drive tonight.
Well, I was staring at the back of that lovely Mustang for most of the race. But there was some decent racing once we got some green flag laps.
Yeah, got a few green flag laps, and Giovanni, we were extremely impressed with your restarts in the race. But also at the same time, Jordan Babcock, he mentioned his restarts were a bit difficult. But my goodness, you really got a great jump on him, and were able to hold him off. What was your key to the restarts?
Well, on oval, you can get the jump there pretty easily if you just go before the green flag drops. So I was just in first gear and just going hard just before the green flag came out. And when you're second, like Jordan was there, it's very hard to react to the leader, especially when they go early.
Yeah, Giovanni, and I got to ask you about that last lap there. What happened on that last lap? I know, that's when you are pushing the gas the hardest, you're cranking the wheel the hardest. You just got a little bit wide. Walk us through that last lap.
Yeah, I knew I only had it was a green white checkered, I think, so I only had a couple laps. I decided I was going to go for the win, even if I ended up hitting the wall. So unfortunately, that's what happened. But if I was in the same situation, I would have done that again every time.
Of course. Well, Giovanni, fantastic drive tonight. I know you're probably not in the position you wanted to be, but you can't complain about a P3. Congratulations tonight. Any shout-outs or thanks before you leave the booth tonight?
Thanks to you guys for the broadcast and the admins for hosting everything. And to the guys I was racing around, I think Nate, Jordan, we had some good racing, especially at the end there.
Awesome. Well, Giovanni, congratulations. We appreciate seeing you, and we will see you next week. Crawford, my goodness, what a race tonight. If you could you please run us down this finishing field tonight, because it does not look remotely like the way we started the race.
No, it didn't. We had Nate Franklin taking away the win, able to hold off Jordan Babcock in second place. Giovanni Romano finished third place with Justin Layman's right behind him in fourth. Jeremy Rogers and Devin Peters fifth and sixth. Kyle Smith with an impressive seventh place finish. Austin Burdick eighth. Brandon Schuhoff able to come back and finish ninth. John Honecker 10th. Philip Linden 11th. Christopher Flamion 12th. John Patrick finished 13th. In 14th was Mark Antonucci. 15th, Alex Albert. 16th, Ryan Verholst. 17th, Antonio Alvarez. 18th, Daniel Bartz. 19th, Justin Hall. 20th was Brian Molitar. 21st, Tom Ellison. And rounding out our field was Andrew Fawcett in 22nd.
What a field tonight, and wish we could have seen some more green flag racing, but fantastic effort by everyone. And with that, we thank everyone for tuning in tonight to the Reddit iRacing League. And next week, we will see everyone at Laguna Seca in the Global MX5 with a fixed series. And that is going to be a whole bunch of fun. As always, we thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and set that alerts to see every time the HJBC is broadcasting. We'd love to see you guys watch these races and comment along with us. So it is Aaron Thacker with Alex Crawford in the booth tonight. We appreciate everyone watching, and we will see everyone next week.